Good afternoon, my low to zero carb coaching people. Today, I've just got two things I want to talk to you about. Really nice, quick video. In a minute, we're going to start talking about ketone monitors and my experiences with changing from one to the other, and why I did, and what that involves. And the other thing I want to quickly talk about is the struggle that the body goes through when you're teaching it to become metabolically flexible. So,
The Fasting Diaries of Joanna Ruth. Number 4. Ketone monitors and training metabolic flexibility.
so this is one of the big challenges that happens when you're in the process of fasting. When you are asking the body to burn body fat and recycle proteins, and then you refeed, and you're giving the body you're giving the body dietary fat, dietary proteins, and then you come back and you ask the body once again to go and collect it elsewhere from the body to contribute to what it needs to do. It seems to be, for me, in my experience, part of an educational process for my body. It feels as though it's a slowly process of teaching my body to become metabolically flexible so that it can adapt to the situation that it finds itself in. So an example of that was yesterday was my third round of fasting, day 1. My ketones were okay. They were starting to come up, but I was full of energy. So I took my dog for a walk for an hour, and then I went to the swimming pool and I trained solid half an hour on shoulders. I started doing sprints, backstroke sprints, which are full on intense. I don't think I've ever worked so hard in the pool in my life. And then I had a bit of time in the steam room, and I went out and swam in the bay for a little bit, and then I came in. It was rather cool, and showered, warmed up, got changed, went home. So 2-hour turnaround. I came home. I was busy doing things. I was still full of energy. My ketones were bumping up now, which was fantastic. And I had a really great afternoon of work. I had a session with music and working with someone with music, my music project, and all systems go. I was active all the way through to when it was time to calm down and go to bed. So I hopped into my relaxed sauna, which is a medical grade far infrared sauna, and that dilates the blood vessels, which means that it can bring my blood pressure down a little bit and make me a little sleepy, which is nice, what I wanted. So I did that. I had a shower to rinse everything off nice and clean, and I hopped into bed and watched some television on my iPad, and then I went to sleep. Today, however, I woke up at about 5:30, tested my ketones, did my weigh-in, noted all that down, did some stuff on the computer until the sun came up, got myself changed and ready out to the park. And again, it's getting a little bit cold this week in Melbourne. And I'm feeling extra cold, not just coming out of summer and into what we call autumn, but also the fact that I'm fasting, and I think my body temperature has dropped a little bit because, I don't know, my body's just settling down with things. So I appreciate the fact that I'm not sweating all the time, and it takes a little bit of extra effort to sweat. But I also understand that the dropping of temperature can be also dropping of the blood pressure, and the body struggling a little bit, making me a little tired. So I noticed that my walk around the park was, not as energetic. I thought, that's okay. I did a really huge day yesterday of exercise, and maybe my body just needs a bit more rest. And, I'm awake because I'm in this ketogenic state, and my body's, wants to wake up and see the day and see what's coming. And, it's got this slight hypervigilance for maybe looking for food because I'm not feeding it anything. So I was a little tired. I came back home and sitting doing some work on the computer, and I got very, very cold. And I thought, well, usually in the past in this situation, because I have had temperature control problems in the past, I would have a shower or I would hop into bed and warm up. But I thought, no, I'll just hop in the sauna. So it did take me 25 minutes to even think about wanting to get out of the sauna. And usually it doesn't take so long. So 25 minutes of the far infrared sauna, and then I hopped out and I noticed my blood pressure really felt quite low. So I put my clothes on and then I hopped into bed. Actually, I hopped on the bed and then I ended up feeling cold. So I flipped the doona over on top of me, and I was watching or I was listening to some television, and I think I fell asleep. I'm not sure. But about an hour later, my dog woke me up. And since then, I have had this flush on my face. You can see I'm a little bit pink. I tested my ketones, which is why I'm going to which is why I'm going to do some other discussions with you. So this is what my ketones showed, 3.0, and this is on a new meter. So we're going to talk about that in a second. And 3.0 on that meter, it's actually, I think it's a pretty good number, actually. So I went from in the morning, where's my fasting diaries? It's not here. Okay. Let me see if I can open it for you. Sorry for the delay. I'll just show you. Let me open that one. Okay. I didn't click it. Sorry. There you go. So this is this morning. We're in the pink now. So yesterday I started at 0.8 and I weighed in at 112.4. So that's where my weight sat during the refeed 2 days. And then this morning, and the highest I got was 1.4 in ketones, and that's with the new monitor. That's why it's pink. And then this morning was 1.9, and then I've also had a 3.0 reading in the middle of the day. And I weighed in, I don't know, about half a kilo less. So that's fine. So I know that my energy is coming through, but I also know from the tiredness and the shaky sleep that I had, my body was trying to get past a block of some kind. The other thing that I noticed this morning, which is really interesting, when I went for my walk, I was really quite cold the whole time until right at the end of the hour walk. And there was, so apart from just warming up all over, I had a really, really warm sensation in the top of my back, just at the bottom of my neck. And that area traditionally for me has always suffered coldness. And I've never really been able to, I have to wear shawls, I have to wear jumpers that are a little high. When I sleep, I have to cover my shoulders. And I've also known that that's the area that your brown fat is supposed to be active, most active, or one of those areas around in the front and in the back. And so that's where the mitochondrial activity is enhanced in your body. Not such a bad spot, seeing it's in between your brain and your heart, pretty important organs of your body. And, my metabolic dysfunction has included temperature dysregulation in the past years. Carnivore has helped that a lot, like a lot. But in terms of this challenge that I'm giving myself now, which don't want to make any excuses to not keep going with it. Because today I had to buy new bras online. I had to go from, I've gone from large way before the fast to mediums, and now I have to get the smalls because I'm getting thinner. I don't think my boobs are getting that much smaller, but my body's getting smaller. So yeah, the size around them, I'm shrinking, and so the elastic is not tightening enough. So I want to keep going because I'm very aware that even if the scale is not showing a dramatic lowering, because I keep doing lots of muscle building exercise, it doesn't matter. My body is shifting. I can feel that I can, when I bend over, I can reach way further because I've got hyperflexibility. I'm a very bendy person. And the only thing that was stopping me being bendy was the fat being in the way. And now my stomach is like half the size and I can just bend down and reach things behind me. It's like when I was young. It's very exciting. So I don't really want anything to stop me from continuing doing this process. I'm on week 3 of 5-day fast, 2 days refeed. I'm not going to call them a feast because it's only 2 days. The first day, and I'm going to do a separate video maybe in a week or so after I've done a few refeeds. You have to refeed really slowly the first day because your stomach hasn't had anything in it for 5 days. So you have to help wake it up. And then the second day you get to eat more normally, but you still can't eat very much. And then I'm back into the 5-day fast again. So it suits me that I just put in some good protein nutrition, different various proteins, and I know that I'm topped up with everything that I might be missing, and off I go again. So yeah, teaching your body to become metabolically flexible again, like you are when you're born, after you've been damaged so much by whatever constant signaling you've had to obey, it's quite a process. So I've come through it. It's not so dramatic. I'm very aware of my electrolytes. I have constantly have my water, and I have this not so much for drinking out of, but for stirring the salt into my water. And I'm constantly adding salt. I cannot believe my eyes how much salt I'm able to put in my water before it actually tastes salty to me. And then I come back to it. I don't want to drink it when it gets too salty, and then I come back to it half an hour later and it tastes just fine. So I really am churning through the electrolytes, and I need to keep them high. That's what I learned from last week. Okay, let's talk about my ketone monitor situation. So this is the ketone meter that I started with. I ordered this maybe a year ago online. It's not a product that we can buy in Australia. So I bought it through a service that will purchase it for you, or it's on their catalog. They'll purchase it for you. They get it in, and then they on-send it to you. This is the Keto Mojo that I bought that was available at that time. It works the same as this one, but this one's new technology. This one has a touch screen, and I can buy it in Australia, so I did. The reason why I swapped from this one to this one is that I couldn't buy more strips. And I bought a whole lot, but because I'm doing this exercise and I want to know exactly what's going on, I was using them up pretty quickly. So I went to buy some more, found I couldn't buy any more. So I bought this, which is the Freestyle Optium Neo. I'm not plugging anything. I don't know anything about them. I just bought what's available. In Australia, we don't have so much availability for variety of medical things. We very much get what you're given in Australia. There's not been much promoting of using a ketone monitor. Most people think you've got to be diabetic to be finger pricking and testing anything. I'm sure that's changing, and it will change in the coming years. But this monitor's nice and simple, works the same way. It's lightweight, it's more slim, and it does something a little different. I'll show you the picture. When I started, well, when I was swapping from one to the other, you'll see that the Keto Mojo, the Keto BM, it says on there, tested at 5, and at exactly the same time. You can just see at the top, I've got the strips in both of them. So I was testing with the one finger prick. I siphoned out enough blood to test on both monitors. I did another test after that later in the day, and I had an even larger difference between the two. So this new monitor tests, or it reads much, much lower, always much lower than the original one. So when I'm looking at the ketones in the diary, in my diary, where is my diary? Hang on, I put it down here. Stop sharing. Oh, did have it up. There we go. Share. So yeah, so in the orange section, we're using I'm using the Keto Mojo, and now in the pink section, I'm using the Freestyle Libra. And so the ketones, even though if you have a look at day 1 and day 2 of the second week, we've got the highest is 3.6, and then 3. The morning readings jumped up after the first day pretty quickly. Whereas in the pink section, the jump isn't as high between the starting gate and where it's going to. So I'm keeping in mind that the readings are different, and I now have to get used to the pattern that comes from this monitor. I did have a look at what who I call Chatty George, my favorite little chat GTP program. So I asked Chatty George whether he could remember what we talked about, and he couldn't, because I think I had to wipe the memory. You can only remember a certain amount, and then you have to wipe it, start again. So here are some. I asked him, could you tell me a few of the reasons why older meters might show different readings to the new ones? And so he came up with the strip technology and sensitivity can be different. So older meters might use different enzyme coatings or sensor technology on their strips, which can degrade over time, and newer strips might be more sensitive, leading to more accurate or lower readings, that's what's happened. And it is newer technology, because you can tell by just how the meter looks, it's newer. Calibration differences. Some older meters require manual calibration. Mine didn't. It was just self-calibrating. But the calibration of the newer machines might be more accurate. They're all self-calibrating now. You've got degradation of internal components, which may have occurred in this situation, but I doubt it, because I didn't have it for that long. Changes in testing algorithms. I think this is a key feature. Newer meters may use updated algorithms to adjust for variables like hematocrit levels, red blood cell concentration, which can affect ketone meter readings. I think that may be the case, because as science continues on, it gets more refined, and of course that's going to be applied in newer products. Different sample size requirements. I do notice that the new meter requires just a tad more blood to get it down the strip. So I have to make sure it's a good prick. So it's not consistent with what George is telling me here. The older meter did not require more blood. But yeah, so that's the feedback that I got from the internet. So yeah, be aware that, like sometimes you've got to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So even though it's all ketones, the different meter really does make a difference. So that's it from me. I hope that's been informative for you. Leave comments, questions, whatever you like. If you want to have further discussions about this, the Facebook group is really good. I pop in there once a day to find out what's going on. It's low to zero carb, open to the public on Facebook. And yeah, that's all from me, folks. Follow along. I will do more later on. Okay. See you soon. Be well, be happy, reach your goals. Ciao.
Here's a playlist for the entire series. Please like and subscribe, it helps more than you know. See you in the next video.